Look, I'll say this about
I'll give you the mic to deliver a eulogy.
Well, I'm not. It's not going to be too long. I'm just going to say this. Lee, you and I have had our difficult times. I hate your management style. It's from a time and an era of old men telling younger people mean things and eroding their self-esteem and confidence. And it's just not a good way to manage. I think you're a complete dick for that.
Welcome aboard a brand spanking new episode of another Below Deck podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm settled up next to one, Pat Hickey.
Permission to come aboard.
Kalen, producer, is over there.
Hello.
Great news tonight.
What's
no
up?
preference sheet, so Kalen doesn't talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Dylan, be careful.
Other public service announcements we have to get to. Oh, speaking of fans that get on our nerves. This psychopath mock slang. Listen, hit us up on Instagram if you want to come on Patreon and we can duke it out. I will talk to each other and you can try to sling insults at me or whatever you want. Should I not talk about this?
No, it's funny. Fans like that we actually look at the comments and
we engage with the comments, and we've got some sick puppy named Mock Slang. He's been a pariah and a thorn in my side for years. I mean, dare I say, my arch nemesis. And leaving negative reviews. Come on Patreon, DM us. We'll fight it out on Patreon.
some people also had some things to say about how you're treating Kalen.
Yeah.
You didn't like that either.
Well, I'll not waver from that. But we have plenty of stuff to get into, enough feuding with the fans. Nobody cares about that because the majority of our fans are apathetic people who just listen to the show and move on with their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Normal.
Well, and we love the ones that are not normal, who engage with us quite often. Go to Facebook.com. We have tons of amazing people over there, even the people who are concerned with the tone I use towards Kalen. We love everybody. I'm so happy. Oh, not Mock Slang. I don't love Mock Slang, but we love people who are looking out for Kalen. I think that's very, very sweet. But tonight is the season finale of Season 10 of Below Deck OG.
The end of an era.
The end of an era. Oh,
I got a couple pieces of business I got to
yeah,
take care of here.
please.
Okay, first off, we need help at Bad TV and YouTube. So type in Bad TV T.V.
put the dots in the middle.
Not in the middle, one after a T.
Put them in the middle.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens if you find us. There you'll find the video of this podcast and also coverage of our Love After Lockup.
Sick rip.
Sick rip cam! Anyway.
Yep.
So there's that piece of business. Second piece of business. Patreon. Our Patreon right now is on fire. Do you people understand that most people, if you're a patron for most
we got
other
that
shows,
APS episode I forgot to post.
Oh, well, get that up then, Dylan, when you have time. So anyway, a lot of shows, they do for their Patreon content, they expect you to pay them $5, and then you show up to their Patreon, and once a week they talk for 15 minutes, a single episode. Dilly and I provide at least most of the time 3 full episodes of extra content.
We kill ourselves in the hope that one day maybe all the hard work will pay off, but this is not a Hollywood tale. We could very well get to the end of this and have not moved an inch, So make sure that doesn't happen. Go to patreon.com, steal people's credit cards.
And yeah, exactly. Now, here's the other piece of business. This is why you need to subscribe to Bad TV. I know you love us for Below Deck, and I know some of you are purists, and you're like, I just want their Below Deck content. But, perhaps you're a fan of the show, Netflix show, Love is Blind.
Well, guess what? Love is blind. Love is blind.
Dylan and I, to thank all of the listeners that have made Below Deck as big as it is and Bad TV as big as it is, we'll be dropping 5 free episodes. 5 free Love is Blind episodes from the new season of Love is Blind season 4.
Love is blind.
And to thank us for that, you are going to subscribe to patreon.com/anotherpodcast, where we are recapping Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. People really loved Rubes, my sister Rubes, and she is there breaking down Vanderpump with us. I'm concerned about her addition to the show because what I fear is that people are going to be accustomed to her being on the show, and then they'll not like the ones that just us two, because people love Ruby so much. So everybody chill out. Ruby said it last episode. She's funny because I taught her everything, okay? So, just calm down, but do enjoy our Vanderpump Rules coverage.
Dylan, quick, stop touching the microphone. It keeps
at patreon.com. Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fuck you, mock slang.
Oh, and by the way, if you'd like to give Below Deck, get us to 1,500 reviews, there's only 2 reviews left. There's 1,498 reviews.
Up in there.
How would you like to be 1,500? Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be a meaningful thing? All right, so season finale, season 10. We bid Lee farewell for good. Pat, we're going to get to the end of the episode before we play him off the stage. I'm sure you'll take a couple jabs at him throughout the episode.
Perhaps.
But how many pots do you give it? And we'll start with pots for the episode, end with pots for the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say I loved the fast-paced nature of the final episode. Very often in Below Deck, they will spend the last 30 minutes of the final episode with goodbyes. They're absolutely meaningless.
Sure.
Someone will go up to the bridge and talk to Sandy for 2 minutes and hug each other and say they can't wait to work with each other.
Oh, and that they'll stay in touch.
And they'll stay in touch. Yeah. Sea rats do that. And that's really boring. Yeah. And it's kind of a slow way to wind down a season.
Sure.
This episode and finale did not engage in that. It spent the last 3 minutes with the goodbyes. It's almost like they didn't even need to happen. I appreciated it.
It's almost like you were 3 bottles of Pinot deep because the last 10 minutes of the show was that. It was way too long. I disagree, but these are not my pots.
These are my thoughts. And so the guests were interesting, although the big Olympian guy, I hit him up on Instagram to be on the show. He didn't have the respect to respond with my request to be on the show.
Well, you need to take several seats because he's Mr. Olympia. You can't just go sending out flares to fucking A-listers, okay?
Yeah, but this is another Below Deck podcast.
Sure. And these are your pots.
Of course. So I will say it was a bit of a letdown. I thought we'd have 2 sets of sea rats pounding away at each other. Apparently, we only had 1 set of sea rat pounding away at each other, making bad decisions. Yeah. There was some tea, Dylan. Did you capture this? I guess Leanne and Ben are going at it on the socials today.
Yeah, well, the tricky thing, and I know that it's our responsibility, but, what happens is that the Ben and the Leanne tea comes at the end of the season, right? And so we've talked about this before. Once that last credit rolls, I literally could not care less about any C-Rat on this show. So I don't know anything about this Ben and Leanne thing. And I would hazard a guess that if I did give a fuck, my life would not be worse or better off. It would just be a meaningless fucking blip.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I believe she made a statement and he made a statement basically saying how dare she try and tempt him and be a temptress.
Oh, what a gross thing.
To his love for Camille after he told her multiple times.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty gross.
Wow.
We saw what you did there, you asshole. It was on camera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it takes 2 to tango, you dick.
The
fuck.
lenses really ruin people, because here we've got a love sick puppy, a low-browed indigenous Australian man with larger than average nipples who just seems like a good guy. But then, once you get a little bit of heat, you go on Facebook or Instagram and you start posting these nuts things to slut-shaming women. I mean, it's really, really disgusting stuff from Ben. How many pots?
I give it 40.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Dylan, sorry, one last piece of business.
I thanked him for not saying 14, which is what he's been saying every episode. Not sure if you hear it.
Hey, Dylan, is this where we let people know that in place of next week's episode, where there will not be a finale, but yet some kind of tribute to all of Lee's contributions to this show, we're going to do a thing where we can talk to the listeners on Patreon or something?
Take it easy, Boomer, okay? I got this. Yeah, so join us next Tuesday live as we watch the tribute to Lee. Kidding. We're not going to be watching anything. We're just going to be talking to you guys. Mock slang, show up there, bitch. Sorry. Join us on Patreon. The $12 tier gets access to live Discord chat. We are really, really looking forward to that. we'll just mix it up with you guys. You can ask us anything you want. It'll go a certain amount of time, and then when Pat and I get bored of it, we'll close the screen, but it'll be a good long chunk. So yeah, go to patreon.com. That'll be next Tuesday. I'll post in the Patreon about it. All right, so my pots. Very disappointing episode. Because of all the things you mentioned. We've got the Tyler story, which I've lamented many times. I don't care how brave the story is. If Fievel never goes west, he just talks about going west for episode after episode after episode. You get tired. You go, well, I don't care, you little mouse. I'm not calling Tyler a little mouse. I'm just saying, well, then
you just did.
Well, no. I called Fievel a little mouse. We'll talk about it. Very, very anticlimactic. I'm at Granny's. Okay. Fucking. All right.
By the way, I want to get ahead of myself, but it's such a non-story. Tyler tells sits his mom and dad down, and he goes, "Mom, I got to tell you something." They're both like nervous, and he goes, "I'm gay."
Yeah.
And they go, "We knew. We thought you were gonna vote for Trump."
All right. Couple things. One, no politics.
All right.
And another thing, we're speaking of conservatives that make the Christian fascists of this nation look like fucking Bernie Sanders. So what the fuck was that, man? I didn't like this episode. 5 pots. Terrible way to end a season, but the season finales are usually not that entertaining. We get back. We'll begin back at Rodney Bay with some very geared up charter guests. They're on gear. You know what that is?
Is that the roids?
Roids, yeah. It's what people call steroids now.
I think that's an unfair stereotype, Dylan, and that is something that I think Frasier was engaging in.
What was that?
Well, you kind of you call them gym junkies, and Frasier was like, "Oh, I'm scared they might try and eat me, because they need a lot of food, or they might snap me in half."
Yeah,
well, it's not nice. You shouldn't stereotype people. What if it was a bunch of Irish guys going there? Oh, I hope we have enough corned beef and hash on the boat.
Yeah.
Where's their leprechaun?
Hey, did you have corned beef and hash for St. Patty's Day?
Yeah.
My wife made some. I was going to say delicious. It wasn't. It was good, honey. So the one who looks like Bowser, I was going to say Frasier's in the right, because the one that looks like Bowser immediately threatens Rachel. He says, I'm going to be up in your ass or something. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
But take it easy, Bowser. You can't speak to people like that. Someone says this is like the Fort Valley Kardashians. There's a very, very convoluted joke that I did not understand in the least.
I think they were pointing out that in their realm of fitness, they are the Kardashians of fitness.
But what is Fort Valley?
No clue.
What is Kardashian?
No clue.
Kardashian or something. It didn't make any sense. I don't want to get all amped up about it. I just want to move on.
Okay.
It's Frasier speaking to the women. No. First, Lee speaks on the magic of the water, and that being out on the boat makes him feel like Christmas morning every single day.
Yeah.
Pat, do you want to comment on how that's going to tragically leave him in the near future?
Sure. Well, Lee, I have a question for you. If you feel that way, why are you such a crotchety, moody old fuck? If you love what you do,
right,
you never work a day in your life.
Yeah. Why are you so angry?
Why are you so angry all the time?
Yeah. Can you imagine behaving like that on Christmas morning?
I wanted more presents.
Yeah.
I got robbed. I hate Santa.
Well, no, he's an older man, so he would...
I got some plane tickets for Santa.
All right. You're getting too amped up, and we got to bid him adieu. So I feel like that voice is going to come out a lot today, and we have another podcast to do that is our recap of The Bachelor, wherein Zach goes, I'm not going to have sex with anybody, and then he has sex with Gabby, and then he starts telling everybody. It's the weirdest thing ever. I'm so excited to talk about it. So, Frasier speaking to the women about gear was a very funny conversation. And then we get to Tony admiring the legacy and career of Mr. Olympia himself, Dexter. Now, Tony continues to be my favorite person on the boat. The glee that comes over him when he is meeting this man and talking about the sacrifice that he knows he made. I mean, how can you not love this guy?
I had to appreciate it because no one else gave a shit. Thank God someone did.
We get to the sun deck. Ross and Katie are rubbing each other in kind of it's like 5 play. It's like close to say it's very touchy.
Oh, 100%.
And it's so funny how accustomed to C-Ret shit C-Rets are, because Ben's just standing right next to him. He's like, oh yeah, that's my boss and the person that works under him. Yeah.
Oh, I guess you guys might finger each other.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Katie tells us she knows who Ross is at this point.
Yeah. Well,
it only took 10 weeks. The good news is she understands the nature of the relationship is now considered F buddies.
She does not know who he is because she knows not the nature of nature. A tornado is just as likely to scoop up a children's hospital as it is a criminal's home. That is what Ross is. He's an elemental. He sees things as wholes, and she cannot understand that.
Well, I think she's coming around to it, Dylan, because they're F buddies now, and it's what it should have always been from the beginning. Not love and kindness and deep intimacy, but rather Ross slamming his sea slug into Katie from behind, wishing there was a third girl to pinch his nipples so he can climax. She understands it's that now.
You know, you make me very uncomfortable sometimes.
Do you know Carrot Top has had sex with so many people? Carrot Top?
Yeah.
That he admitted on a podcast he can only climax when there's 2 girls there.
Yeah.
Carrot Top.
Kind of like Kaylin. All right, so Camille and Ben texts.
Who cares?
It's like we get 4 too many shots of Ben going to call Millie Illicit's voicemail, and the issue is that Millie Illicit is in the throes of C-Rat psyche wounds. Like it's that thing where she's refusing love and commitment, self-sabotage, an inability to feel love. But what with her being off the boat and stuff, her sending nutso texts about how she's getting the best of him because she usually doesn't speak to people, it means nothing. I mean, it just miss me with the bullshit, Bravo, and take several seats.
Yeah, but here, Dylan, although it does seem like
tonight.
An innocuous kind of text or response, because, Tony says, hey, what do you think is going to happen after this? She says, I can't think about that right now.
Right.
That is a seed of plausible deniability, not planted by her, but him.
Oh, very interesting.
Very important moment here, because this is now him saying, and also using it's a bigger word, another stage. It's a red flag.
Yeah.
The dreaded red flag.
I think Ben's better than you give him credit for, but I did not see that statement on Instagram because I don't care. So on to Leanne. I would tell Ben, move on to Leanne, you goddamn C-Rat. If you cannot see that Millie Illicit is emotionally unavailable and focused on her pivot to country music right now, while Leanne is a stand-up woman, I don't know what to tell you. Come on. Camille will have a new name and a new social security number when you get to the Dominican Republic or the airport to go to the Dominican Republic. She will not be there. She'll vanish like Kaiser Sose. So these guests turn out to be magnificent, and for their troubles and their $60,000 a day, they are subjected to the culinary whims of someone who is sword fighting a spice grinder down in the kitchen beneath them. The detectives have left. She is now firmly stuck on Shutter Island
with those goddamn chicken wings.
Yeah, Ruffalo is back on the boat and he's leaving. This is where she belongs.
Yeah, she's talking to that person behind the wall.
Yeah, and sadly, I do feel as though electroshock therapy may be in order. I'm kidding. Rachel is lovely. I don't know why. I don't know why Rachel had such a bad falling out with Bravo, and it's going to be one of those things where we've got to reach out to Rachel, and we've got to have her on the show if she'll come, and then we'll probably go through a dicey period with Bravo PR for a while.
It'll be worth it, though.
But it'll be worth it. Yeah. They hate when we do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they really don't like it.
It's better interviews, though.
Oh, yeah, way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Haley's fun, but when you got PR sitting in the wings, you get interviews like Alyssa, just media trained to high heaven. And Katie, who is just a lovely person from Fort Lauderdale, but not the most...
tread lightly.
Not quite a lightning rod, We love everybody on this show.
Yeah, and we thank all the guests.
Thank you for coming on the show. So, God, foot, mouth, let's remove it. So,
Ben shares with Katie that he's now upgraded the actions of Camille or Millie Illicit to red flags.
Oh, got it.
Red flags, it's important.
Yeah. So, really wild stuff on deck. Mr. Olympia is not a great swimmer, hops on the paddleboard with Ross, and the trampoline has been bewitched into some kind of giant rubber ballistic, almost claims the lives of Ben and Tony. Mm-hmm. Now, That jungle hippie is so carefree. He doesn't realize that he was almost knocked into the next realm. I mean, that thing came in fast. And thank God Lee is there to radio down to let them know after the thing is ballooned over their head that thing can get out of control if the wind catches it. Thank you so much, Lee. So more time. You have your phone up. What's going on with your phone?
Oh, well, I have an audio clip, Ben.
What?
Well,
okay.
Lee wanted to meet with Frazier to go over the plans for dinner.
Right.
And then this is
when
you
can send Kaylin the clips. They sound better that way.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Well, this is when Lee shares with Frazier that his asshole is pretty and he'd always dreamed about being an asshole model. What? You don't remember him talking about that?
No. It's almost like that didn't happen.
No,
it's like that's not what he said.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, that's one of those career moves that you're never too old to go for. No dream is too big or too small. Here's an audio of Captain Lee at his asshole modeling gig. How's it look back there? Don't mind the scarring. I sat on a bowling pin when I was 19. How much am I being paid for this?
Oh my God. The sound effect was of a camera shutter.
Yeah, it was at his modeling gig.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He sat on a bowling pin when he was 19.
Yeah, because when you think scars down there, you think of some kind of shard type thing. Like that video I constantly refer to, one of the most horrifying videos I've ever seen in my life is when I was a young boy in high school. One of the older brothers, real sicko, showed us that video of that mason jar that was sat in front of a clean white background. And then you just saw an aging sack of testicles come down, and then a kind of opened up crescent moon of an asshole come down, and the mason jar is subsequently swallowed by the asshole, then pops inside the guy's butt. There is a trickle of blood, and he does not make a lot of noise. He just goes, oh, and it's just the most horrible thing. So that's what I think when I think scars down there, but you're talking about tearing.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, I'm not going to get that up.
All right, so more Tyler coming out to his parents. Thank God we get to an actual a pivot to Frazier, who was not talking to Lee about his asshole or whatever the fuck you were talking about. But it is an encouraging tale for Tyler, who needs to come out to his parents or keep shitting or get off the pot. I don't know. Whatever helps.
Well, I thought it was rather macabre way to explaining away that your parents will love you no matter what. He's like, hey, over in that United States in Ohio, some guy, he killed guys and ate their heads. And you know what? His parents still loved him.
Yeah.
Again,
I think you're an unreliable narrator here, and I don't blame you because I don't quite remember what happened, but let's just move on.
Compared it to serial killer.
So Ben and Tony love one another, and I think we all love them together. This is an integral part of a good cast, and we'll talk about the season overall at the end, but this is undoubtedly a good group of sea rats.
Especially the addition of Leanne at the tail end.
Yeah, it's a good addition. Leanne was great because you can get a bit of a wallflower stepping into that role, but important to the fabric of a good season is the buddy cop thing. I think Tony and Ben are akin to Gary and Colin, though not quite as legendary, and dare I say Ashton and Ross, but better than Ashton and Ross because, again, Ross you love you, buddy. I mean, and Ashton's great too. I think he's going on like what is he, like a Tony Robbins type character?
I'm seeing that on Instagram now. He's doing a lot of working out self-help vids.
Yeah, he's going around to disenfranchised men telling them of the dangers of toxic bitches and that they need to treat themselves better so that they can avoid the perils of women or something like that. So I'm happy they're bringing levity to this season. If the sea rats all hate each other, it gets a little too nasty.
Yeah.
There's when there's no like real camaraderie on the boat. Perfect example. The fucking kind of Frankenstein season known as Below Deck Adventure, no one really got along with one another on that show. There was no cohesion.
You're talking about Adventure, you said.
Yeah. There was Wallaby, the bosun, and Mike, the crab fisherman, who I think is
He's a nice guy. Hey, let me pitch you something. That's
not cutting it.
This is like Marvel, like universe, or like all the
What'd you
different, like all the different dimensions.
Yeah.
Imagine it was Alyssa who was shit canned first. Guess what would have happened?
Wow. Now that's having your producer's cap on.
Then you got Leanne and Millie Illicit on the same boat fighting for the same guy.
Yeah.
One has history with him. One's already been banging him.
Right.
What a missed opportunity.
Wow.
I just thought of that. I just came to my dome right there.
Wow, dude.
Food for
Honestly,
thought.
we could produce this show at this point. We really could. We know the pitfalls, the trappings, and the boons that are required to make a season good. Who produces the show? Douglas Murray or something?
I forget his name.
All right, hit us up. So we get some more Sea Rat history with Ross. His parents were those kind of flighty, wanderlusty type of people who maybe they're happy. I don't understand how people are happy living that kind of life.
That seems kind of fun. To each his own. I will say this, though. Ross, who seems like a nice guy, but he's a pig. You don't want your daughter to date him, and he's a little too old to be, I think, chasing ladies around like he is, and he's got a problem with drinking. And actually, he's kind of a mess. But
he has a spiritual sickness, which is what all addiction is.
Right. I'm just wondering where the sex addiction kind of came in. It seems like that kind of comes from somewhere.
Sure.
One of the parents wasn't around.
Yeah.
Certain other things.
Well, sex is a very, very complicated issue, and there is some shadow in him that he has not made friends with, and it is completely taking over his life. Mm-hmm. It's tough to see.
Big time.
Yeah. Nothing a little vagina and binge drinking can't put in the shelf once again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, what happens next?
Oh, we
don't even get there because we have to get to an ad break. Let's talk about these magnificent sponsors right now. Our next partner is a product that I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because why, Pat? You know me well.
Well, you want to optimize your day. You want to wake up, do something that's simple, and get you on your way so that you can be the best version of yourself.
What was happening to me in the morning?
Well, I don't wake up next to you, but I've talked to people that know you're a pretty grumpy, negative person.
I was a grumpy grumpus, and that's because my gut biome was not in shape. And with AG1 and just one delicious scoop of it, I began to absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens to start my day on the right foot and not being a grumpy grumpus. It's really easy to incorporate into your daily life. You just wake up in the morning, the cup of water that you should be drinking, that you're supposed to be drinking, can be supercharged with just one scoop of AG1.
Here's what we do. They come in these nice little packets, like they're almost like how you used to keep baseball cards. And there's these little packets, and you just pull them out, you crack it open, you pour it into your cup of water with a little spoon shake there, you drink it. Next thing you know, you're man.
Don't curse in the ad reads. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take great care of yourself. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. Yeah, no, listen to that.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of those weird old people. You go over their house and they got a bunch of vitamin bottles strewn about the house. You're like, what is wrong with this person?
Will you take several seats? Athletic Greens is a climate neutral certified company. That's amazing. What else is amazing is right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop of water, or one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. You don't want to be like that old guy. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit this URL, which makes perfect sense. athleticgreens.com/anotherbatchpod. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/anotherbatchpod, because that's, still a show we do. And it's the show you're listening to right now that they bought space in. To take ownership over your own health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance, again, that's athleticgreens.com/anotherbatchpod. Honestly, I love Athletic Greens. I really, really do. It does make you feel better in the morning, and you should just try it out. See if it makes you feel better. What can it hurt? Pat.
Yeah.
You been Postmating a lot?
No, I cut that down. I got trying to watch our budget And, it's cold, and I don't like having food come here with rainwater all over it. And, and, it's sitting in some guy's car for 45 minutes.
Right.
I don't want to eat food like that anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy because you order like priority, right? You're like, why not? I'll throw $2 at this to cut the drive time down from 30 to 45 minutes to 15 to 20 minutes. And you go, okay, well, it's been an hour and 30 minutes right now, and he's in Torrance. So what's going on? Anyways, that's micro regional humor. But Green Chef is helping us so
100%,
much because we don't get warm sloppy pork loin or cold sloppy pork loin that's been sitting in the back of a Taurus. We get hot, not sloppy pork loin from Green Chef. What is Green Chef? It's a CCOF certified meal kit company. It makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat some more balanced meals. Green Chef offers a range of recipes to suit your preference. It says. Pat, what's a dish you made recently?
They did this nice little pasta, really healthy dish with a little broccoli in it. I think it was like a fettuccine. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
They measure all this stuff out for you. So it all just shows up pre-packed and everything like that. But it's all like, natural ingredients and healthy ingredients.
Right.
The wife starts cooking away at it. She was at the oven. I wrapped my arms around her like we're in the movie Ghost.
Oh, there you go. You almost did it again.
Yeah, I almost swore.
Yeah.
And it was so romantic, us cooking together. Well, I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But the good news for me is I wasn't out on the road going to pick up some takeout.
Sure, yeah.
I was at home wrapped around my loving wife.
Right, while she stirred cream and broccoli. So, whoa. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well with dinners that work for you, not the other way around. Bring more flavor to your table with the new year, with Green Chef's wholesome, elevated recipes. I mean, how many times do we have to say it? Green Chef is the only meal kit that is both carbon and plastic offset. They offset 100% of their carbon footprint, as well as 100% of the plastic in every single box. Do you want the polar bears to keep having to leapfrog between different pressure points of you don't want that.
No.
You want to save the planet. And you can do that by going to this website that I'm about to tell you. And so you can get Green Chef so you can save our planet and stop postmating stuff and wrap your arms around your loved ones you're in Ghost. Go to greenchef.com/belowdeck60 and use code belowdeck60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Go to greenchef.com/belowdeck60 and use code belowdeck60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Not green shipping. Well, kind of, because it's free, which means cheddar in your pocket. Go to greenchef.com/belowdeck60. The #1 meal kit for eating well is Green Chef. So we've got more Tyler coming out. This is a horse that has been mutilated at this point. I'm trying to think of a good reference to a movie where somebody just gets the shit beat out of them until they're like almost unrecognizable.
And they live?
No, they're like the dead horse that is this storyline. What's a movie like that?
Casino.
Nice pull, dude. Billy Bats in Casino. I mean, in Goodfellas.
Is that when they put the guy's head in a vice?
Yeah.
Or how about the time they dragged the two brothers out into the cornfield and beat them to baseball bats?
Or like in that other Scorsese movie where that 85-year-old Robert De Niro is like a spry young 33-year-old chicken and he's beating the shit out of that guy in front of the bakery or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a weird move. Still love that movie though.
I do too.
Love that movie. So let's get to dinner. Lee has stilted his way to the table and is once again killing it. He speaks of being a gym rat his entire life, and every day that he spends in a gym is 2 days he doesn't spend in the hospital. He just wants to see his penis. Now, these are the kind of aphorisms that just come out of his brain. They don't make any sense. Like, who's ever said? I guess people have said that, but it's such a not empirical thing to say. Like every one day, I guess I'm putting too fine a loop on this, but 1 day in the gym means 2 days not in the hot. It's just like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, Lee. You almost died like 2 weeks ago. All right. Now, while we had some flame in our Facebook group about Rachel's cooking this evening.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. And while it was a rather lazy lily gilding to put the balsamic dressing of a burrata salad that she's served 14 times this season in some kind of plastic vial to squoosh out.
Oh, right.
I thought the dinner was rather beautiful. I mean, Chilean sea bass, who can kick that out of bed? We've got homemade pappardelle that was torn with a rustic beauty to it. I thought that she did absolutely magnificently well, despite her being firmly behind bars on Shutter Island. 90 pots. So we have to get to the buns out, guns out competition, but not before Leanne rubs Ben down and gives him quite a violent erection. Yeah. My God, this young woman knows what she wants, and she wants Ben and his larger than average nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot for the dude, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Well, at the same moment, Ben starts laying those breadcrumbs for Leanne, and the opportunity he says, red flags. Camille's been showing red flags.
Would you get off that, man? My God. So we get to the Guns Out, Buns Out show. I was heartbroken at the awards. Pat, who wins?
Ross.
Why? Tony does a goddamn pommel horse routine.
And he was a fan.
And he gets in second place, and he congratulated Dexter on his legacy as a fucking superhuman athlete. And he comes in second?
That's absolutely
ridiculous.
He got done dirty.
Yeah. We have any Russian judges aboard? No, I think not. Just one guy that looks like Bowser. So we end with a chat between Ben and Leanne. They both say, listen, we've got one last dance. Let's dance. And by dance, I mean let's have sex with each other. Because Camille is currently losing her mind at an iPhone-only music video shoot. She's not available. All right, let's get to the next day.
Next thing!
Do you want to handle the docking? The winds are blowing.
Yeah, the winds are blowing. Lee sees a boat coming out of the dock. Way okay! God damn it!
Yeah.
I'm getting a rush. God damn it, why'd you miss the rope, you fucking dumb idiot? God damn it.
It's like if somebody was jaywalking a quarter mile in front of you and you just flipped out.
You lose your mind.
Right.
I've had that happen in my car. You ever see the person like crazy, like their arms waving in their car? It's dude, you still had 4 seconds to make that left. Right, I didn't kill you. Why are you making a big deal out of it?
There is this thing where it's like, operate under the assumption that I know that you're in a vehicle and I'm not in one, right? I wouldn't just walk in front of you, right? Because that would be suicide.
Right.
So don't get so peeved. It's fine. All right, we move on to the tip meeting.
Well, but first Leanne calls her brother, and and she's kind of confused because the guy she wants to bang has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I like this brother.
And the brother goes, are there any red flags?
And he says, take what's yours.
Right.
It's a pretty cool brother, I guess.
Super great
supportive.
Very supportive, good wingman.
Yeah, definitely.
But we have to get to the tip meeting.
Yes.
Wherein Lee says, if I'm happy, everybody's happy.
Right.
Not true, Lee.
Now, the tip is pretty heavy for remember, this was a one-day charter, $20,000.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of cheddar.
But there's bigger numbers to say. They nearly hit, in this charter season, $250,000.
I don't think we've ever seen it before.
Never. Well, I think the fact that last charter, they tipped him $40,000. That helped out a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's quite a haul.
Yeah. No, I know. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when Kalen has Josh Jacobs on his fantasy team. Kind of inflates the numbers a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't that good. It's just these fucking random games. It's just like, what is he doing? All right, so Tyler calls his mom to round out this 7-episode arc of nothing, and it results in his mom knowing that he's gay and saying, let's not do this right now because I'm at my mom's, who is even more hate-filled and bigoted than I am, so I'll talk to you soon. I love you no matter what. And it's like, oh, she's a sweet lady, you know?
Yeah.
That's what all this was for? I mean, just an unrecognizable mass of horse. You just see this pile of flesh and bone, and you're like, what is that? It's this storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's disappointing.
All right, let's get, speaking of disappointing, let's get to the night out. Now, this night had a lot of promise.
Big time. I said we're going to have 2 sets of sea rats pounding away at each other.
Right.
They fucked me over.
I did hear you say that, yeah. But the night started out with promise, not because we were going to have 2 pairs of sea rats fucking each other, but because Lee did not attend the dinner. And it's not just Lee, although Lee would have made it considerably worse. It's the role of the captain at all. we don't want to see the captain there. We get the pleasantries. We got to go around the table saying what we've learned. And oftentimes this can give us some juicy moments, but we don't need juice here. We need the limiter off. We need revelry. We need mirth, and we need binge drinking. Okay, yes. And to have infighting at the Last Supper kind of detracts from that a little bit.
100%.
So right now we just have sea rats rejoicing that a season has ended, and I think, wow, this is really going to be looking up. Ross is doing that thing where he makes those creepy Joker doll noises, and that you can tell that he's getting blacked out. And Leanne and Ben are hooking up. She's grabbing his hip like she's a goddamn jaguar. I mean, things are really heating up. Shots are flowing. And then
Ross orders Ben and Leanne to do anal from the van.
Yeah, exactly. And then we go to sleep.
Tony's in like the hot tub where he's like, hey, where is everybody?
Ben is, yeah.
Yeah, where is everybody?
This is what we get on our final night. I mean, the producers should have cattle prods on these sea rats. If it's the final night, I mean, you cannot do this to the audience.
Yeah.
You can't do this to the audience. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Next morning, I have to tell you, I was pretty confident that Ben and Leanne were lying to us by saying that those two didn't hook up.
Oh, you think so? A little covering of the ass?
Yeah, because she acknowledged it was only going to hurt both their reputations. They already acknowledged that they would both be cheating bastards with each other.
Which they wouldn't have been.
Why share with the world that they hooked up? They say they took the higher road.
Well, you've not done the TFC, and you're supposed to don the TFC, but what you're kind of floating out there is that they are both almost sociopathic liars, because they pulled this off very successfully. I think you're wrong. I think they did not pork. I think the only people that porked were Ross and Katie, or Ross and an unidentified empty space. That's how he sees her. Yeah. I mean, I'm really struggling tonight. I think it's the rain.
Yeah.
So Tony departs.
Oh, well, yeah, we're saying leaving.
Goodbye to the
Oh, yeah, Haley plans on banging her boyfriend more. Ben is headed...
Do not rush through this.
Oh, okay.
God. No, you can rush through.
Oh, okay. Ben's going to head to the DR to hang out with Millie Illicit.
Nope, she will be not there, like Leo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can.
Katie's headed back to Florida. Ross is going after her in Florida.
Dude, Ben gets to the airport and he can't find her anywhere. And she texts him that she's going to meet him at the gate. And he's the last one called. He just can't. He doesn't know what's going on. And he looks out the window and there's another plane that's pulling off from the gate. And she's flying it. And she just waves goodbye to him. And then his phone explodes. It's like,
wow. It's pretty elaborate.
Yeah. Rob Reiner, hit me up. Let's make some good movies, huh? Yeah.
Rachel tells us she's too fucking old for this shit and she's leaving the industry. And Frasier will be on the next season. He's filming right now.
Well, I hope that Frasier and Haley are on seasons together. And it pained me that Haley was not with him last week when she was in Los Angeles. But because I really love that these two are... I think they're a really good couple, and I'm aware that he's a gay man and that she's a straight woman. But I mean, as friends on the show, they're just great together. They give me all the good feels, and I think they give everybody all the good feels.
Well, we'll see.
Do you not agree?
I want people there that are going to be hooking up with their subordinates.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Call me a pig.
What if Haley breaks up with her boyfriend?
Well, then she can come back on the show. Okay. I told her that to her fucking face. Right. She laughed, but I was dead serious. You're not allowed back on this show if you have a boyfriend.
All right, so let's get to final pots for the season before we send Lee off. Pat, how did you think this season went?
Okay, so the bar has been set by, I believe, Yacht Sailing Season 2, in which a baby was created. Was that the season where that happened?
Sure.
Okay, so we made a baby sea rat. That's a pretty high bar.
Oh, dude,
someone got pregnant.
Can't
on a
even
boat.
open the eyes. It's so young.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's all pink and white and shit.
yeah, but I have to say, look, middle of the season is normally when it falls off. This by the addition of Leanne at the tail end of the season added a new fun little boatman's there.
What happened to that baby sea rat? What's going on?
Well, I follow Danny on Instagram. She's starting to kind of, all right, so I think there's these stages where after a woman gives birth, she's just wants to dedicate herself to being a mother, and that's how she sees herself. And then there is a period where she can actually then reemerge as a sexual being again.
And seek vengeance on the giant dumbass that
That's where
impregnated her?
Danny is now. She's posting all hot pictures of herself.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
good.
You liking those?
Oh, yeah, she's very attractive, very
cool.
attractive young lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this season in general, I thought it was definitely better than most seasons.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah, and how many pots?
86.
I think that's too high.
Oh.
And I know that you arrived at 86 because just to show you how the sausage is made, the pot scale is meaningless. And what you wanted to do was say 14. And when you couldn't say 14, you scrambled, you said 9, that was too low. Or you said 90, that's too high. And then you just landed on 86. But you're close because I do think this was an above average season. The Camille and Alyssa drama was fatiguing everybody out. So it hit the eject button at the right time. Alyssa remained just a toxic, mean human being for, again, a good amount of time. And then we transitioned to Leanne and Ben. Frasier was great the whole season. We had Sandy come in. We had huge tips. I think that the charter guests were not as awful as they've been in years past. I know that those Indian characters were pretty rude, and that one guy was kind of a dickhead, but he tipped him $40,000. That was like the only thing that was really missing from this season. But I don't want to brush it with too fine a tooth comb or anything like that. I thought it was a good season. 83 pots.
Yeah, all in all, and hopefully you guys had fun listening to us. I guess.
Of course.
I guess sailing starts on
April 10th.
2 weeks away. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do in the meantime on this feed?
We're going to take a break.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Not me.
So, one of the reasons why I think you might have enjoyed this show so much is because it was the swan song of your most fearsome adversary. Now, mine is Mock Slang. Mm-hmm. Yours
was Captain Lee. Yeah. Look, I'll say this about.
I'll give you the mic to deliver a eulogy.
Oh, well, I'm not. It's not going to be too long. I'm just going to say this, Lee. You and I have had our difficult times. I hate your management style. It's from a time and an era of old men telling younger people mean things and eroding their self-esteem and confidence. And it's just not a good way to manage. I think you're a complete dick for that. But now you're on your way. I hope you get to stay in the business, but I don't want to see you on my television. It's time for the new era of Captain, and that is Captain Carey.
That is it for us. Guys, thank you so much for supporting us throughout this entire season. Next Tuesday will be our live stream. Join us on patreon.com/another podcast network. We'll talk about the whole season with you. We'll gab and goof with you guys. We'll talk about whatever you want. Jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Be that 1,500th person. 5 stars, kind words. And join us on YouTube, Bad TV, put the dots in the middle. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting us. Kaylin, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Pat, say goodbye.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.